So I have kind of read the Bible.
You've kind of read the Bible. Okay.
Yeah, I started with the New Testament.
Mhm.
And I have read like a lot of things from the New Testament, and it's very beautiful. I just have like
It's
only
very beautiful, huh?
Yeah, she's on her way out of Islam.
Oh, glory to God, Nuri. Even your light means, your word means light. Jesus said he is an-nur, but go ahead.
yeah. I came across this one verse where Jesus, he is like a lot of people, not only Muslims, but a lot of people take this verse
Yeah.
to like argue with it. He calls a Gentile woman a dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you're going to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have a question about it.
Oh, that's too easy to answer. Okay, yeah. Did you guys hear what the objection is? This young lady is also falling in love with Jesus, and I'm going to answer it for you. So, you're falling in love with Jesus, aren't you?
Yeah, so if you want to hear a little bit of my backstory, I can
Sure.
tell you. So, so I come from a Muslim house, but they're not very like religious. Like they don't really practice it like fanatically, but they would still be like very angry if they found out that I'm like converting. But I have read like a lot of like hadith and Quran and things like that, and I just kind of, it was just very difficult for me to believe in Islam because no matter how many times like they try to justify things that are written in there, like it just doesn't make sense.
Beautiful.
Like how, you know, there are actually mistakes in the Quran, like about what's it called, Jesus's mother, Mary. And there's a lot of like other mistakes in the Quran, which like I tried to ask people and they just can't really explain. Like they kind of give explanations, but it doesn't make sense. It just
Glory to
doesn't.
God. Glory to God. That's the Spirit working.
Um, yeah, and there's also this hadith that like I read that is just kind of disgusting, like with the slaves, like selling slaves, and Muhammad saying the Ethiopian slave something about the black raisin or something like that, making fun of like Ethiopian black people.
Astaghfirullah, Nuri, astaghfirullah.
And yeah, and things like that. And I just like read so many hadiths, like it's like I could not believe in this anymore.
Man, yeah.
So people are very passionate. Like there are a lot of people who call themselves Christian, but they're not really practicing. They're just born into Christian families and they just say, you know, I'm Christian just because that's like what they've been taught to say. And a lot of like Muslims say, oh, like look at the West, like look at the Christians, like they are sorry to say, but they're whores and they're this and they're that. And yeah, they kind of like look down on Christians for that. But a lot of Christians that I have met, like who actually practice the faith, like they are so devoted.
Man.
And I found it beautiful. So I tried to look into Christianity and I had a lot of questions that God Logic answered for me.
Glory to God.
Yeah. And I started reading the New Testament and I loved a lot of the stories about Jesus there. And yeah, no, I'm just up back here to ask that question.
I mean, ask as many questions you want. I'll answer the first one. You ready?
Okay.
Have all your questions. It will be a delight for me to answer. Okay, guys, she's talking about Jesus called the Syrophoenician woman, the Canaanite, a dog. So we're going to start the context, Matthew 15, 24, and we're going to read all the way to 31. Matthew 15, 24, 31. All right, let's start at 21.
All right. And Jesus went away from there and withdrew to the district of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a Canaanite woman from that region came out and was crying, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David. My daughter is severely oppressed by a demon." But he did not answer her a word. And his disciples came and begged him, saying, "Send her away, for she is crying out after us." He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel."
Why did I want to start at 24? Because I want you to catch something. Pay attention. Notice he calls the Israelites lost sheep. First of all, I'm going to go systematically. When I show you the wisdom here, you're going to be more in love with Jesus. I promise you.
Okay.
But first of all, he said the sheep are the Israelites. They're lost. That's not good, right? If you're a lost sheep, that means you lost your way. And now the shepherd has to go find you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so keep in mind, he says, I've come to the lost sheep, meaning Israel is in a bad situation. They're lost. If they were not lost, he wouldn't come for them. So now, who's in a bad situation?
Israel.
The woman or the Israelites?
Yeah, Israelites.
Number one. Now watch the metaphor. Now the metaphor.
Oh, I guess because the woman already believes, but the Israelites don't.
No, the Israelites, yes, they lost their way. He comes. But now this woman, the word dog, this is where it's not an insult. Because notice he's using animal metaphor, right?
Mm-hmm.
He calls Israelites sheep. Is that an insult?
No.
Neither is the word dog, because he's talking about a puppy in the house.
Oh.
Now you're going to see it. Watch now. Listen to the wisdom. Now he's going to read 25 all the way to 27.
But she came and knelt before him, saying, Lord, help me. And he answered, it is not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. She said, yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table.
Where are the dogs?
In the house?
Ah. So if in their house, do they belong to the master?
Yeah.
And if they're in the house, that means the master brought them in, right?
Yeah.
And if he didn't love them, would he bring them in the house?
No.
So they're already in the house. They're the pets of the master, like the Israelites are the sheep of the shepherd.
But why distinguish between couldn't he call her also a sheep?
No, because she's not the lost sheep. She's in the house. She has a place. And she'll be fed in time, but he's got to go find the sheep who are lost first, and then he's going to feed her.
Oh. Okay.
You follow the logic. And also the metaphors are appropriate for the particular culture. Just like in Islam, dogs are looked down upon. They're unclean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't use dog metaphor to describe Muslims, right?
No.
Unless you want to insult them, correct?
Yeah.
Because Muhammad said dogs are unclean and you can't have dogs in the house, but you can have dogs for shepherding, right?
Yeah.
So Jesus knows his audience and he knows what example to use. So for the Israelites, sheep. For the Gentiles who may not be offended by having dogs in the home, you're a pet in the house.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but now let me show you that the word he used, Matthew 15:26, means a puppy. Because there are two words. Follow with me slowly. You're going to see the beauty. That's why she knew he wasn't insulting her. Because you see what she said? Yes, but even while the children are being fed, the puppies come and sneak a breadcrumb. So give me a breadcrumb in the meantime.
Ah, okay.
Did you understand? She understood it, right?
Yeah. It's a bit difficult for me to understand, but I'm getting it, yeah.
Okay, show her this before you go. Watch again. And he answered, it is not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. Now watch. Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat crumbs that fall from their master's table. So in the house, who do you feed first, the children or the pets?
The children.
But she goes, yeah, I agree that the children should be fed, then the pets, but don't the pets also sneak a breadcrumb here and there before feeding time?
Okay.
So he's saying, okay, give me a breadcrumb for now. Because then he's going to turn his attention to the Gentiles and give them the gospel, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay,
But
I get it.
now, I've come to preach the gospel to the Jews because they were given the promises and they're lost. So I'm here to announce I've come to fulfill the promises that were given to them. After that, I will then turn my attention to the Gentiles.
Okay, that makes sense.
Move on until you get it.
Yeah, I understand. It's just I also had that question because when I read he was only here first for the lost sheep of Israel.
Yes.
Muslims say that Jesus was only sent to, I don't know how true that is, but yeah, they say
I'll destroy that lie too. That's I mean they don't read the Bible. But for you, first he's saying, look, I came only for the lost sheep of Israel. Now understand why. Of all the nations, who was given God's promises?
Israel.
So Does it make sense that Jesus is coming to that nation who has the promises to show I'm here, just like the prophet said?
No.
It doesn't make sense. He went to them first, so he should go to the Gentiles who didn't have the promises?
No. Sorry, it does make sense.
Okay. So notice, the nation that's given God's promises are the Israelites, right?
Yeah.
Not the Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
So does it make sense that Jesus is going to go to that nation that was given the promises that he comes to fulfill?
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's why he says, I'm here for them. They're the ones given the promises. They've fallen away. So not only am I coming to them to show them that the promises are being fulfilled, but I have to bring them back because they have been lost. In other words, they're not safe anymore, and they're not in the sheep pen. They have run astray and far away from the shepherd.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
In other words, they're in sin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so now understand the metaphor. But what does he say to the woman that she understands? He's not saying you're garbage, you're filth, I don't care about you. He's giving her hope because he's saying, what? She's a dog in the house, because the word for dog means puppy. So she understood, oh, you do have a place for me. You do love me, and you will care for me, but you first have to take care of the children who are lost.
There's actually, Sam, a translation that shows.
Yes,
this,
it's
right?
New King James Version. Okay, so pet dogs, right?
Yeah.
What
pets,
about the other one?
The little dogs.
Okay,
right,
keep on.
in
You're
the
going to see it.
house.
Yeah.
They're
pet dogs.
Their pet dogs,
Okay.
right?
Little dogs,
Little
EHV.
dogs, yep.
EHV. Okay.
There's one that says.
Okay.
Puppies,
You'll find it.
ISV.
What's
There
the
it
word?
is. Throw it,
ISV.
throw
To
it-
who?
Throw it to the puppies.
Puppies. Yeah.
Okay. Jumbali, little dogs, right?
Yep.
Okay. What does the New King James say? And we're going to show you the Greek. There are two words for dog.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to show it to you. What does New King James say? I think it says
Little dogs.
little dogs. Okay. How do we know it's little dogs? I'm going to show you two different words.
It's right here.
Okay. Kunariis. Kunariis from kunarion. Click on it.
All right.
Now watch. We're going to show you the two different words. What's the word?
So a little dog or a house dog,
Oh.
like a pet.
What does it say in Helps Word Studies?
Properly puppy.
Properly puppy. Diminutive, meaning it means a small dog, a puppy. Do you see it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, scroll down so you can tell other words. Little dog. Are we making it up?
Nope.
All right, keep going
It's
down.
right there.
Kunarion, equivalent to kunidion, right? A little dog.
Mm.
And what is the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance?
Dog. A
Puppy. So you see he used this word, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to show you the word that would have been nasty and insulting. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there was a word for dog that means a nasty, rabid dog with nothing but destruction. I'm going to show you what it is. Now watch how this word dog is used. This is the other word, and it's negative. It means a rabid dog, a dog that is vile and violent and needs to be put to death. That's not the word he uses. Now read those.
Matthew 7, verse 6. Do not give what is holy to dogs, and do not throw your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces.
This word refers to a dog that's rabid, vile, violent, and needs to be put to death, right?
Mm.
I'm going to show you what this word is. That's not the word he used for her. So if he was being nasty, he would have used this word, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
And I'll show you what the word is, but I want you to see how it's used. This one word. Keep going.
All right. Beware of the dogs. Beware of the evil workers. Beware of the mutilation.
So Paul is saying there are Jews who are dogs, meaning nasty and vile because they're perverts, and God will destroy them. That's not the word he used for the Canaanite. Keep on.
2 Peter chapter 2, verse 22. The message of the true proverb has happened to them. A dog returns to its own vomit, and a sow after washing returns to wallowing in the mire.
This is a dog that's nasty and vile and filthy, that's untamed and to be destroyed, right?
Yeah.
But this is not what Jesus used, because he's not talking to Muhammad. Muhammad's scam, Shamoun, that fat cow, woman mounting, dog who's burning in hell. Because he was talking to Muhammad, he used this word. But now This dog ends up where? Where Muhammad is, because Muhammad is the dog of dogs. Go to Revelation 22:15.
Outside are the dogs and the sorcerers and the sexually immoral persons and the murderers and the idolaters and everyone who loves and practices lying.
So here it's saying, who's outside the kingdom in hell? Muhammad, the dog. Here's the word dog.
Mm.
You see, this is the word that you use when you want to insult someone.
Okay, that makes sense.
So Muhammad, I don't call him a puppy. I call him a filthy dog burning in hell, because that's what he is. Okay, right? Okay, you see it, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, now let's see what this word is. Okay, now here it is, that word. The dogs.
Kaisen.
Kisin. Click on it. Yeah, kisin, because I'm trying to pronounce it like a native Greek. Okay, a dog universally despised in the East.
Oh.
Literally a dog, scavenging canine, like a mongrel. That's the word used in those verses, but that's not the word he used for the Gentile.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, you understand the difference now?
Yeah, I do.
A loose dog was disdained in ancient times, viewed as a mooch pooch that ran about as a scavenger.
A mooch pooch.
Now, if Jesus was insulting her, he would have said, "You are
a mooch pooch.
Ku'un, a kisin. You are a vile mongrel." But he didn't say that. Show her again what the word is that he used. Show her the Greek. Okay, now watch. Now let's look at the word that our Lord used of her. He said, to give the brother children, cast it to their dogs, right? Kinaris, click on it so she can see what it is. Now, one more time. What is it? A little dog, a house dog, puppy.
Puppy.
You see it?
Okay, yeah.
Scroll down. Okay, little dog. And then here it says a little dog. And then it'll give you puppy again, right?
Yep.
Like, I mean, it makes sense. Like, if someone calls me a puppy, I would be much less offended than if someone calls me a dog.
He's not offending her at all. She understands the metaphor. So now go back to the passage. Now let's read it in context.
All right.
And now she understood it. If she understood that Jesus was calling her a mongrel, a mutt who's rabid, that would have been offensive. She didn't understand it that way, because look at her response. And he answered, "It's not right to take children's bread and throw dogs." She said, "Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." How did she know that the dogs are in the house? Because of the word he used.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So he knew, or she knew, he wasn't insulting her. He's saying, look, the puppies will be fed. Not now. We got to feed the children. All right, Lord. That gives me assurance that you will feed me. But in the meantime, even puppies sneak up to the table and sneak a breadcrumb. Then give me a breadcrumb. Heal my daughter. He goes, go ahead, woman. Because you respond that way, she's healed.
O woman, great is your faith. Be it done for you as you desire. And her daughter was healed instantly.
So where's the insult?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense now.
Now, this is the parallel. This is the same story. But I want you to see how this proves Jesus is God. Catch it. Now, we're going to go through this. You want to read it? You can read it.
Yeah, so just to be clear, this is the same story, just in Mark now.
Yeah.
Mark chapter 7, okay?
Yeah.
The first one was in Matthew. This one is now in Mark. All right, so it says, and from there he arose and went away to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And he entered a house and did not want anyone to know, yet he could not be hidden. But immediately a woman whose little daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him and came and fell down at his feet. Now the woman was a Gentile, a Syrophoenician woman by birth. And she begged him to cast the demon out of her daughter. And he said to her, let the children be fed first.
See that?
For it is not right to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs.
Now, before he moves on, that's why you read all the accounts when they report the same story, because one will give you more details than the other, so then you can get the full picture. So what did he say? You will be fed, but the children are fed first.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
What does that mean to her? How does she take that? That means, oh, so I do belong to you. You do care for me. I do have a place in your heart, and you're going to feed me.
Yeah.
So where's the insult? But it's going to get a little better. But where's the insult?
There is no insult.
Now watch her response. Read 28.
But she answered him, yes, Lord. Yet even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs.
So they're under the table. That's how close they are.
Yeah.
They're living side by side in the same house, owned by the same master, living in the same house. Here's the deity of Christ. She asked Jesus to cast out the demon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now look what he says.
He says, and he said to her, for this statement, you may go your way. The demon has left your daughter.
How did you know that? Now understand. Jesus wasn't there physically, and he cast out the demon, but he wasn't there. And he said, go, the demon is already gone.
Because he's God.
That's right.
Because he's God, he doesn't have to be there physically to cast out demons. He can be in heaven, and from heaven tell the demon, leave her alone. Nuri is my child. Stay away from her.
That makes a lot of sense when you read it, like with all the accounts. Yeah, you're right.
Now notice 30 though. When she went, she found out what?
And she went home and found the child lying in bed and the demon gone.
So now Jesus gave her assurance. Didn't I tell you, you belong to me? You have a place in my heart, in my home, and I will turn my attention to the Gentiles. But now to give you a deposit that you can take me at my word. Your daughter is healed. I've already cast out the demon. Go. Sorry. Give me a minute. That means when she saw her daughter healed, she knew she could trust Jesus, and she knew he had come to save her.
Yeah.
From that moment on, you know she's in love with Jesus.
Mm.
So that's the meaning.